May it please you, Madam Deputy Speaker, I'd just like to say before I start in earnest that I do not intend to be very long. That is really a reflection of two things, two variables. One, I think I have spoken on every bill that has been tabled in this House this year, so the people have heard a lot from me. That's one. And two, my budget is only 2% of the national budget. Therefore, I should naturally only be 2% of the 5 hours and 27 minutes used by our leader and the member for number 8. But, Madam Speaker, it's always a privilege to address the people of this good country, and I do so today in my capacity as Attorney General as well as Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs to support the bill before this Honourable House and to explain particularly why I support the 2025 budget for the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs and the Attorney General's Office. Madam Deputy Speaker, while the figures and facts are important, and I'll get to them, this budget is not just about numbers. It's to let our people know the progress that we have made as a government and the tangible steps that we are taking from my perspective to advance the country with respect to our justice system and to strengthen the rule of law for every citizen. Madam Deputy Speaker, the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs has been allocated $12,425,553 in recurrent expenditure and $2,733,000 in capital projects. Combined, this reflects a 2.7% increase over last year's allocation. For the Attorney General's Office, however, there is a 17% reduction in allocation, standing at $10,185,718 in recurrent expenditure and $150,000 in capital expenditure. I wish to assure this Honourable House that the reduction is not due to a reduction in work, but rather a testament to the prudent fiscal management and innovation within the Office of the Attorney General. We are doing more with less and doing it effectively. Altogether, our combined allocations represent 2.1% of the national budget, broken into 2.5% of recurrent expenditure and 1.4% of capital expenditure. Madam Deputy Speaker, actions speak louder than budgets. And in 2024, the Attorney General's Office saved this government $3.6 million EC dollars, or 77% of the amount allocated for claims against the state. I want to repeat that because I want our people to hear that. The Attorney General's Office saved this government $3.6 million, a savings for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, and it is a direct result of an attitude change and hard work at the AGO. Before, the AGO was used to funnel government money to certain favored friends and family. Now, the AGO is like Brimstone Hill at its prime. We protect the public purse for the benefit of the people. I must extend my deepest thanks to my dedicated team of Crown Counsel and support staff, including our Solicitor General, Simone Bullion-Thompson, Senior Legal Officer Tashna Powell-Williams, Crown Counsels Christopher Ford, Liska Hutchinson-Reiner, Sasha Lloyd, Leandra Edwards, Kiwana Brown, Kyle McKechnie, Ashley Maynard, and the hard-working support team of Ella, Tonya, Crystal, Tamoya, and Javion. In 2025, we are recruiting 2 additional Crown Counsel to bolster our team, because protecting the public purse is not just our mandate, it is our duty. Madam Deputy Speaker, our commitment to legislative reform is evident in the 33 new laws that were tabled in Parliament this year, 62 new laws in the 2 years of this session of Parliament. Laws to improve health and safety, modernize justice, protect intellectual property, and strengthen economic development. The legislation to protect our health was seen in the Medical Laboratories Act, the Animal Health Act, the Plant Protection Act, and the Radiation Safety and Security Act. Legislation to bolster our financial system by protecting it from money launderers and terrorists included the Virtual Asset Amendment Act, Financial Services Regulatory Commission Amendment Act, Financial Intelligence Unit Amendment Act, Anti-Proliferation Financing of Weapons of Mass Destruction Amendment Act, Limited Partnerships Amendment Act, Foundations Amendment Act, Non-Government Organizations Amendment Act, and the Companies Amendment Act. Legislation to support our good governance transformation, the Ombudsman Amendment Act, and the Freedom of Information Amendment Act. Legislation to develop our sustainable island state and promote diversification of our economy, reflected in the National Productivity Council Act, the Copyright Act, Citizenship by Investment Unit Act, Agreement establishing the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center Act, the Aspire Act, the Community Beautification and Safety Act, the Public Parks Regulation Amendment Act, and legislation to strengthen our criminal justice system and citizen security by way of the Firearms Amendment Act, the Offenses Against the Person Amendment Act, Justice Interference Prevention Act, Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Act, Immigration Amendment Act, Proceeds of Crime and Asset Recovery Amendment Act, Voluntary Bill of Indictment Act, Judge Alone Trials Act. The first judgment, Madam Deputy Speaker, was issued just a few days ago, and I encourage all to read it at eccourts.org and search for Rex versus Anthony Adams. The Advanced Passenger Information and Passenger Name Record Act, and the Mutual Assistance in Criminal Matters Amendment Act. Madam Speaker, we've been working hard at the AGO. One of our focuses has been on criminal justice reform because we remain committed to introducing legislation that ensures that justice is not only served in St. Kitts and Nevis, but it is delivered efficiently and swiftly for victims and offenders. Madam Deputy Speaker, you may think that we've had an active bill production schedule in this Parliament, but I also wish to point out that we have also drafted and published 25 substantive regulations to support various legislation, including the St. Christopher and Nevis Citizenship, Marriage and Child Applications Regulations 2024, which has created a framework for processing of citizenship applications by marriage and registration of children as citizens. These regulations do a lot, but the fundamental purpose is to end the unfortunate cycle of citizenship by marriages of convenience and fraud. Those days are now done. We also have the payment systems rules, which allow checks to be cleared more quickly between banks in the Federation. We also published various civil aviation safety rules. And most recently, we prepared and published the Collective Management Organization Regulations, which governs the regulation of collective CMOs that conduct business on behalf of artists in the Federation. Another special thanks, Madam Deputy Speaker, must go to our legislative drafting team of Alison and Karen, whom I support from time to time. 3 human beings, all that work product, Madam Deputy Speaker. I sometimes do not know how we do it, but it is the dedication that those 2 lovely women have to their job. And to bring in modern laws to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. We work hard. Throughout 2024, we also met with every ministry, their directors and permanent secretaries, to review all required and new amended legislation. And we formulated a 2-year legislative agenda with 109 requested acts and regulations to address the various needs and concerns of the ministries. Madam Deputy Speaker, therefore, please expect a continuing busy Parliament for 2025 and 2026. We remain committed to advancing legislation that serves the people, promotes transparency, and supports national development. Madam Deputy Speaker, we are also proud at the AGO that last month we made history by being the first country in the Western Hemisphere to bring artificial intelligence into government in a way that truly serves the people. In the last sitting of this Honourable House, I introduced to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis VoiceIt, our own AI genius. VoiceIt is trained on the laws of St. Kitts and Nevis and the policies of the Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs and Attorney General's Office. So whether you want to learn about one of our laws, understand ministry policies, or get clear answers to your legal questions, VoiceIt is there to help. Madam Deputy Speaker, with your leave, I would like to play a short video to introduce those who did not listen to the last sitting of this House to VoiceIt.
VoiceIt, your go-to for quick questions on laws and your rights. Type or speak your question. VoiceIt responds instantly. Ask about tenant rights, police procedures, or even how child support is calculated, all through our website or WhatsApp. With answers sourced from verified laws and policies, VoiceIt has you covered.
¿Cuáles son mis derechos como empleado?
Como empleado en San Cristóbal y Nieves tienes...
VoiceIt speaks your language, no matter where you're from.
If me go school, my mother can go jail?
In St. Christopher and Nevis, parents have a legal obligation to ensure that their children receive an education.
Need help validating a document? Just upload a photo. Visit our website or WhatsApp to try VoiceIt today.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I encourage our people to try out VoiceIt. It can be accessed at lawcommission.gov.kn. Madam Deputy Speaker, the courts of this federation are no longer places of parchment and paper. Through the PACE Justice Project, we are transforming our judicial system with technology. In 2025, with $358,000 in project funded from the EU, we will continue this work, ensuring justice is swift, accessible, and efficient. Just 2 weeks ago, we received brand new televisions, high definition, as well as computers to be used at the High Court as part of that modernization and technologically focused initiative. Also, this year, our Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court launched the e-litigation portal for criminal matters and piloted the use of AI technology to transcribe court proceedings. And they also introduced the e-litigation portal for criminal matters. The e-litigation portal is a platform by which lawyers and individuals can file documents digitally online to the court system. So lawyers do not need to walk to East Independence Square or any court office to file documents, you can do so from your office. This started in 2019 with our civil court, but now it has been introduced to St. Kitts for all matters, including matters in the criminal court. So, Madam Deputy Speaker, needless to say, we are committed to a technological transformation of our justice system in words and in deeds. Madam Deputy Speaker, the DPP's office has also been strengthened in 2024 with the addition of new Crown Counsel and more resources, including the provision of another space for offices closer to the new courts houses at Fort Lands. This was a request from the DPP, who is attempting and doing a very good job at trying to build a strong and efficient support team. He has convinced us to currently add even more Crown Counsel so that the justice system can be made more efficient from the prosecutorial perspective. In the Magistrates Court, Madam Deputy Speaker, we welcome 2 new magistrates, and we introduce policies to enhance efficiency there. A new Chief Magistrate, Yasmin Clark, has taken office and has started to implement policies to further advance the operations of the Magistrates Court, which sees the most actions and disputes in the Federation, St. Kitts and in Nevis. Also, our land registry is now under new leadership, poised to continue on reducing processing times and to finalize the Land Administration Information System, LAIS. At this point, Madam Deputy Speaker, I wish to commend our outgoing land registrar, Ms. Dawn Myers, who has worked assiduously to professionalize the land registry. Fortunately for us, she has agreed to stay on to finish the LAIS project, which she started under her tenure. So we are grateful for her, and all of her knowledge and experience will remain in the ministry until that project is complete. Over the past year as well, with the introduction of effectively 3 land registrars, we've been able to speed up the processes at the land registry. This is a complaint that I constantly got on taking office, and even before, in my former capacity as president of the bar, ways in which land transfers and other land processes could be sped up. This also helps in the ease of doing business in the Federation. So what we did, instead of 1 land registrar, we brought in 3. And now there'll be 2, now that we have the momentum. And we're able to keep the momentum with a land registrar, an assistant registrar, and capable and competent staff to be able to process matters not within months, which was the norm, but within days and weeks. Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm also extremely proud of the Intellectual Property Office. It has been a shining light in the ministry. Revenues from the IPO, and a lot of people don't understand how much money the IPO makes, were $552,990.93 as of December 10th this year, surpassing last year's total of approximately $541,000. New trademark applications increased to 228, up from 211 in 2023, while patent applications held steady at 3. In collaboration with the World Intellectual Property Organization, the IPO executed a cooperation agreement and successfully upgraded to IPAS 4, the foundation for achieving 100% online services operation. Further, under the leadership of the amazing Gian Williams, who is the IP registrar, after 24 years, we updated our copyright legislation with the passage of the Copyright Act in May this year and supporting regulations just last week. Importantly, We also acceded to 5 international copyright treaties and 1 for industrial designs, strengthening our legal protections and positioning St. Kitts and Nevis as a leader in the international IP framework. We engage our youth as well. In November, 100 high school students and 10 art teachers participated in manga art workshops facilitated by Japanese comic book author Misako Rocks, supported by WIPO. Madam Deputy Speaker, this progress lays a foundation for 2025, where the IPO will pursue several key goals. 1, the passage of industrial design legislation and implementation of the Hague system to protect international designs. 2, a project to sanitize and validate the IPAS data while digitizing remaining trademark records. 3, finalizing and passing the new trademark bill and patents bill. 4, exploring IP protections for local treasures, such as the Nevis mango, leveraging lessons from regional initiatives, 2 of which I was exposed to recently, Madam Deputy Speaker, one being the 2 special types of honey in Antigua, the Antiguan bee, what do they call the bee producers, the honey producers, whatever they're called. Apiculture, yes. Yeah, culturalists. They have started their journey to trademarking the 2 types of special Antiguan honey, as well as the nutmeg in Grenada. And what that does is that your product then gets what you call a GI in the IP world. And you could say that this is a particular product that is only produced in a particular country. So say, for example, there is a mango breed from Nevis, and you can prove it is Nevisian in origin. You can then sell that particular mango in the international market with that tag, and you can charge whatever you want for it. So that is being done throughout the region, and it's to protect and leverage our intellectual property in the broader sense, so that persons who produce different types of agriculture and other things unique to our region can benefit financially from that history and culture and nature. And lastly, we're beginning a process to process patent applications and publishing a patent guide for agents. With pending relocation to the Independence House on North Independence Square Street to address roof repairs at the former home, at the former CNC supermarket, the IPO is positioned to continue its exceptional work in 2025. The IPO really exemplifies how innovation, legislation, and youth engagement can build an economy of ideas, one where creativity is protected and progress is unstoppable. Madam Deputy Speaker, strong institutions require strong infrastructure, and this budget makes critical investments in the physical spaces that deliver justice. For example, $1.5 million has been allocated to commence construction of the new Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs headquarters on Bay Road, Bastia. Architectural plans are already underway, and we anticipate breaking ground in the second half of 2025. This state-of-the-art facility will consolidate our operations, improve efficiency, and provide a dignified space befitting of the administration of justice. We're going to bring the arms under one roof, and in the process, save lots of rent. $400,000, Madam Deputy Speaker, has been allocated for the rehabilitation of the Sir Lee Elmore Judicial and Legal Services Complex. Cleanup activities will begin shortly, with major refurbishment to follow in 2025. Our aim is to restore this vital institution to its full functionality in time for the start of 2026. As I'd mentioned before, Madam Deputy Speaker, $358,000 is earmarked for the PACE Justice Project, aimed at enhancing justice delivery through modernization by way of technology. This investment, generously provided through the project funded by the EU, will continue to transform how our courts operate. $200,000 is assigned to address urgent roof repairs at the former CNC supermarket building, allowing it to serve as a reliable asset for future use. If people do not know, Madam Speaker, that building houses the land registry as well as the intellectual property office. So it is abandoned at the moment because there was a severe leak in the roof. So we had to relocate those offices, but we intend, with the budget allocated in 2025, to fix that roof as soon as possible and bring those offices back over to George Street, Newtown. We've also been allocated $150,000 to be used to operationalize the Land Administration Information System, which is a digital land document system, bringing much needed efficiency to the management of land records. Madam Deputy Speaker, I often get emails from persons in the diaspora the emails go something like this. My grandmother had a deed, and she has now died, and nobody has processed her estate. I have a copy of the deed, and I would like to get an official copy so that I can speak to my siblings and figure out what to do with the land. Can I just do that from where I am in Boston? And my answer, unfortunately, is, unfortunately, we cannot assist. You will need to contact a local attorney at law to help you with the search. Now, when the Land Administration Information System is fully launched, all of the titles and all of the deeds will be uploaded into the system, so that will give an opportunity for persons, wherever they are, to at least conduct a search of a name and potentially find the land documents for their ancestors. So we're trying to get that project up and running, so we have dedicated another $150,000 to hopefully get it finalized so that it can be available to the people of this country, home and abroad. And lastly, $125,000 has been allocated to the Judicial Services Expansion Project, which focuses on upskilling and training professionals within the ministry to ensure continued excellence in service delivery. So that will be training programs and persons attending courses and so forth in the region and outside. So we have that money allocated for that purpose. These investments, Madam Deputy Speaker, are strategic, targeted actions that align with our commitment to building a resilient, sustainable, and modern justice system that meets the needs of our people now and into the future, and also in modernizing the provision of services like intellectual property and land registry services. We are building not just for today, and I think that is probably the theme of this budget debate. Innovation, inclusivity, and sustainability, our path forward. We are not just building for today, Madam Deputy Speaker, but for the next generation. Power in progress. Planting the tree that you may not be there to be under the shade, Madam Deputy Speaker. We've also had challenges, Madam Deputy Speaker, which I'll be honest about. We have not been able to realize the Access to Justice Authority. We've had a few hurdles. However, with the assistance of a consultant, we have developed a detailed plan for 2025. And we plan to bring the Access to Justice Authority, which will incorporate the Legal Aid Division the Mediation and Restorative Justice Division, and the Public Defenders Division into reality. Part of the reason why we have not been able to realize that, Madam Speaker, if I could be plainly honest, is that some people in ministries, and I do not know if my colleagues experience it, but I'm sure they do, some people choose politics over their country. And even though they're civil servants and they're supposed to work for the people of this country, they don't like that there's a Labour government in office. They support another party. So instead of coming to an office, sitting down, doing your work diligently, participating in the public service, they rather play politics, do nothing, don't answer emails, push up their face, and just try to collect a salary without assisting the development of this country. And I'm not going to tolerate that. Because I could care less what your politics is if you're working for the people. Governments come, governments go. Administrations come, administrations go. But you have chosen to work in the public service. So whether you support the member for number 8 as leader or someone else, you need to come and do your work. And that is part of the reason we have not been able to establish our Access to Justice Authority. But nevertheless, people like that, karma tends to find them. And we move on, and we will do what we have to do to bring these programs to power progress and benefit the people of our country. Madam Speaker, I'm almost finished. But before I do end, I want to echo a sentiment that came earlier in the debate. I also want to express my condolences to all of the families that lost persons in road fatalities over the last couple of weeks, and even before. Every life lost to recklessness on the road is one too many. I actually have a passion for road safety. Not sure why. I know why. When I was a young boy, I was living in Antigua at that time. One Mother's Day, 5 teenagers died in a traffic accident in Antigua. I remember seeing my mother cry because that was a horrendous Mother's Day, numerous children dying. And I remember the impact that had on me. And ever since then, I've always paid attention to road safety and signs and so forth, wherever I drove. And I have always said that we need to do more in St. Kitts and Nevis for road safety. Antigua responded. Didn't stop road fatalities. It didn't stop accidents. But they responded. And unfortunately, it has taken us to have our own tragedies to respond. But respond we will. So I just wanted to let the general public know that we have established in October this year, so in the embryonic stages, our Sustainable Road Safety Project for St. Kitts and Nevis. We have seen an exceptional increase in accidents, reckless driving, some fatal, as we have seen. But the project's mission is to enhance road safety through data analysis, public consultation, and sustainable measures, targeting 0 traffic fatalities by 2030. Our vision is a nation where road safety is paramount, traffic laws are respected, and infrastructure supports safe travel for all. 4 sustainable development goals are targeted by this project, in which AI and technology will feature prominently. The Interministerial Project Steering Committee, we have met twice to strategize and set the next steps for creating a comprehensive policy to guide the project. The immediate plans are to analyze road data, traffic data, resolve immediate road safety concerns, and schedule widespread consultations with the public. Madam Deputy Speaker, we were shocked in our second meeting to receive a report from the Deputy Commissioner of Police that there were 6,526 reported traffic accidents in St. Kitts, between 2019 and 2023. 1,300 a year, Madam Deputy Speaker. In that time, 128 of those resulted in serious injuries, and this is up to 2023, not 2024. And at the end of 2023, there were 19 fatalities. There have been numerous since then, 5 in one incident, 2 in another. So we have around 30 road fatalities in 6 years. That is wholly unacceptable, Madam Deputy Speaker. And I promise to the people of this country that I will lead this committee to bring change in respect of road safety in this country. I will give up my time, I will give up my effort, and the members of the committee have also promised that they will do the same. We cannot keep this status quo. We're going to create this project. We're going to have a comprehensive plan. We're going to take real actions to make sure that the roads are safe in St. Kitts and Nevis. Basti alone has between 700 and 900 traffic accidents per year. And when we ask what were the causes, they are mostly due to speeding, naturally, and also driver distractions, like cell phone use. So when the police investigate these accidents, say, oh, I just pick up my phone, I got a text, look down, bam. So I encourage all of our people to be responsible on the road. I remember I was driving to the peninsula a few weeks ago, and a vehicle for a company was in front of me. And I could see through the back window. The person literally had their phone in front of them like this, driving, Madam Speaker. Right in front of their face, driving. I asked the passenger in my car to take a picture. I sent the picture to the company owner, who I knew, and told them, this is the kind of, the Peninsula Road, not a straight road. That's the kind of recklessness we have on the road, Madam Speaker. So simple things like that, being responsible, not doing foolish things like being on your phone while you're driving, can make a big difference. And not speeding. Everybody has a car now. Everybody's car, you press and it goes. But we all want to reach home safe. One of my good friends, his son, was in the accident on the bypass road. I imagined that happening to my own children, And we have to get serious about that. Accidents happen. Young people, they get their license, their foot is heavy. That has been happening since the beginning of vehicles. It's not something that will ever change. But what we can do is that we can improve on the safety of our roads. There are ways to do that. Not just the ticketing. There are ways you can ticket for speed and discourage. I was in a country a couple months ago where they have an expansive ticketing system for speed cameras. So it became a culture that you don't speed, because if you speed, you are going to get caught. Not hoping a police is there and you could get away with it. There are cameras all over. So from the moment you hit the gas and you go quickly, you're going to get a ticket in the mail. So the committee is going to examine all of those different options and figure out a way where we can change the culture of reckless driving and misuse of our roads. So I can tell the people that I'm dedicated to that cause, and the Sustainable Road Safety Project will become a reality. And I also want to say, just last week, even before the accidents, I had written to all of the insurance companies as the chair of the committee and said, this is the committee I'm introducing to you to it. Can we get the support of the private sector, the car insurance companies, because it's beneficial financially to car insurance companies if there are less accidents. So I wrote to them and said, this is what our plan is. Are you prepared to support us financially by providing paint or other types of traffic signage, paying for it and so forth? I got responses that said, yes, we are prepared to help. So we're trying to make it a public-private partnership because this is something too important. Everybody goes on the roads and we want the roads to be more safe, and we will try our best to make sure that the Sustainable Road Safety Project is a reality and that we can bring fatalities down to 0 by 2030. That is our goal. And in conclusion, Madam Deputy Speaker, justice is the cornerstone of a strong democracy. It's also a fundamental pillar of our Sustainable Island State agenda. This budget reflects a Ministry of Justice and Legal Affairs and an Attorney General's office that are hardworking, accountable, and innovative. Through fiscal responsibility, modern legislation, digital transformation, and infrastructure development, we are building a justice system that is fair, efficient, and resilient. And we're also supporting the modernization of the laws of this country. These are efforts that fit squarely within our Sustainable Island State agenda and the SDGs, ensuring strong institutions, protecting the rule of law, fostering innovation in justice delivery, and safeguarding resources for future generations. Madam Speaker, with those few words and that short presentation, I commend this budget to the House, and I'll say, let justice prevail, let the rule of law prevail as we build a sustainable, just, and prosperous future for all of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. May it please you, Madam Deputy Speaker.